Selector. Okay, yet another Friday, a lot of updates. We'll have two presentations. One, AI updates for the week, and another one about running large language models locally. So first about updates, well, this is me. Okay, LLM Leaderboard. In the beginning of July, it was about 450. Today, it is more than 1,000 entries. So this is on Hugging Face, just a reminder. And let me pop it up. Takes time to load. Yeah, and this is a lot of models. So each of those models is a link goes to the page explaining the model. So original Llama 70B was introduced on July 18th, and it was in the first place. Now it is on the 84th place, right? Before that, the winner was Falcon model. It was on the first place. This is from United Arab Emirates. Now it moved to 157th place. You see, so it's a lot of progress. The first model average quality is 73%. Original Llama was 66, almost 67%. So you see increase in quality. The first 38 positions, they are all variations of Llama model. The difference is that people train, retrain, fine-tune, train on different data sets which are specifically designed to improve the model. So there's a lot of work is happening on perfecting those training data sets and training procedures. Okay, the 13B, which is 13 billion parameters model, is on 95th place, and you see the quality is 66%, which is approximately what the big Llama had originally. So this is really exciting. This is Falcon 40B, and this is model 7B, which is very small model, and the quality is about 60%. So it's quite close in terms of quality. So you can use a very small model, you can use it on your local computer. So these are direct links to these models. Okay. A lot of work is happening with data sets. Like if you go again on Hugging Face to the datasets page, you see the number 57, almost 58,000 datasets, and they grouped into pages of like about 2,000 pages, and you can filter them. Like for example, one of the Orca. Okay, I like Orca. It's a data set. Okay, Orca, and you see 59 data sets which are based on Orca, Open Orca. You see how easy it is. Okay, next, let's see what's happening. So for example, Orca, open resource for clicking analysis and search. There was original paper in 2020. There was another paper in this year by Microsoft, and they use explanation traces of GPT-4. So they're using a bigger model to create data set to train the smaller model. And now there is an open Orca data set released in June this year. And this is another data set called platypus. This is this animal. I don't know, they call them with different animals. A good model is Open Orca Platypus 2 13B, and it has 13B parameters, but it has very good quality comparable with 65B models, right? You have seen it here somewhere. Where is it? Llama Chat. It's 13B. No, this is, or maybe it is, but whatever. So some models use the term instruct. So instruct is not a data set. Instruct is how the model is trained to behave. Like for example, when it parses your request, like your prompt to do something, for example, you want to summarize, then it is programmed to behave in a certain way to follow your instructions. So this, what this word means. So it's instruction tuned. Okay, some data sets actually consist of from many, like for example, if I take this data set and you go to this page, you will see that it actually consists of 11 data sets, and the model is trained on all of them together. Here is another data set which has 3 trillion tokens. The ChatGPT was trained on 6 times less, on 0.5 trillion tokens. So you see, it's a huge model developed in Seattle, Washington, Allen Institute for AI, and it is open source. It is free. You can download it. It's more than 5 terabytes gzip, but you can download it and use it if you want to train something. Okay, private GPT, fine-tune LLM. Well, we will see more links about the local GPT, private GPT. People create GitHub projects, how to run your model locally on your computer, Linux or Windows or Mac, with CPU, with GPU, without GPU. One of the things people do to decrease the size of the model, they quantize it down to accuracy of 4 bits. And you can actually do it yourself, because when the model becomes small, you can do it on your own computer. Like with the GPU here, 48 gigabyte GPU memory, it took about 24 hours. Well, you can also do it on 16 gigabyte GPU, but it will just take longer. So this link explains, for example, how to do that, how to fine-tune the model. Another very important thing to know is AutoGPT. And in March, the project on GitHub was created by Torrent Bruce Richards. So he's a young man from UK. And if you go to this GitHub page and look at the number of stars, 147,000 stars. And the project exists just a few months, right? It's absolutely amazing growth. It's the fastest growing GitHub project ever. So what this project is about is how to make AI agents. Well, using GPT model, using some Python code, you can tell it what to do and it will go do that. So it's really, really interesting. There is a Wikipedia page about it. Generally, AI agents is next big thing, and the projections are that in a year or two, all applications will have their own AI agents. So it's a big, big demand on the market from businesses. You can do consulting, you can build agents for other people, make good money. There is a lot of requirements. I'll talk about it later. Okay, these are examples of recent investments into AI startups. And I was only looking for something which is at least 50 million, and I didn't even do exhaustive search, just 10 is nice number. But you see Anthropic, 100 million, Genesis Therapeutics, it's a drug discovery. Humane, they decided to pivot their company into AI and raised 100 million. InWorld, create better video game characters. Mistral, well, these are some people from DeepMind and Meta in Europe, and they created their own company, and they raised 100 million even before they created anything at all. They don't have a product, it's just a bunch of people supposedly respected. Modular, tools to optimize and create AI models, again, 100 million. MoveWorks, this is interesting because this is conversational interfaces to any business system. That's what they do. This is a very common task. When I talk about AI agents, that's about the same thing, or at least part of it, right? And they raised 200 million easily. Synthesia, platform to use AI to generate video content, raised 50 million. Viome, microbiome test plus AI. So they send you a test kit, you test your microbiome, send them result. They're using AI to recommend you treatments, supplements, and so on. You see, raised 86 million. Well, XAI, well, this is Elon Musk. God knows how much money he will invest in this company. Meta, some exciting updates, and they're all open source. One is that Meta Llama was mostly English only. Whereas ChatGPT, Bard, Claude, you can use them to translate. For example, I really like to use ChatGPT to translate between languages like English to German, for example, or vice versa. It's fun. And you can tell it to translate in a style of a certain poet, like Heinrich Heine, for example. But now Meta released a new system called Seamless M4T, which is multimodal, and it's for speech and text translations. And you can try it. It's quite amazing. It's very good. Another thing they just released, and I tested it today. It is you can go to labs.perplexity.ai, and there you can test it. So this is Code Llama. It can answer questions about coding, which is really great. Before I started using ChatGPT, but ChatGPT doesn't have recent information because it's trained on old data, 2 years old. So I was using Bard and sometimes Claude, but now you have this Meta, which is state of the art. Okay, a lot of small ideas. Yeah, there's a picture of Wayne Gretzky, which is a famous hockey player. Skate to where the puck is going to be, not where it was, right? And I think today we have so many changes so that you really have to think this way, where things are going, where they will be in a year or two. Artificial intelligence, AI, won't replace employees anytime soon, but people who use AI will replace people who don't. I really love this quote. This is from recent IBM report. Python and Excel, you know, a lot of excitement about it. What's interesting that it actually runs not on your computer. It runs in the cloud in a secure container on the Microsoft cloud. Just something for you to know. Okay, OpenAI launches the GPT bot. So it's a web crawler similar to what Google uses to get data for their web search. I guess this is part of the plan to create the next version of GPT, maybe proverbial GPT-5. Nobody knows when it will be done, but maybe finally OpenAI ChatGPT will have recent information if you will start using this crawler. A lot of legal changes. First of all, big LLM providers are being sued very seriously for using copyrighted materials. And one of the things now they don't show the author of something, and also if large language model, if ChatGPT recognizes that what you're giving is a citation, a direct citation from somewhere, it may refuse to answer. Like they're trying whatever to defend themselves. Um, Another legal thing, US federal judge rules that AI generated art cannot be copyrighted. Well, I don't know, is it good or bad, but that's the judgment. Entertainment and media industries are severely disrupted by AI because writers and artists, like designers, they're really hit by AI who substitutes for them. At the same time, ChatGPT jobs on LinkedIn increased more than 20 times, which is understandable, of course. Salaries, just want to give you some look. Like, for example, Ilya Zutskever, well, you can Google, his salary is $1.9 million. OpenAI senior engineer, well, close to $1 million. VP of AI at some other company, it's 230 to 250K a year. Senior AI engineer, about 200K. AI prompt engineer, there is a really big range from 75K to 165K. Well, you can Google these numbers yourself just to get the idea. Mid-journey, image implanting. So before you were providing description and it was generating the image. Now you can tell it, here's the image. I want you to change piece of this part of this image. So, and it will modify just this part of the image. This is a very interesting article, how to use LLMs for brainstorming, what kind of prompts to use. I mean, really creative. I recommend to read. Datalung.io. So this is a service. They charge about $20 a month, and they use ChatGPT to convert your natural language request into SQL query. Well, it is easy to do. ChatGPT basically does it out of the box, and there are some plugins you can use for that, but these people creatively charge money for the same thing, which is available for free. Okay, Apple M1, M2 GPU support in PyTorch. So there are some tests which show that it's better than CPU, but not as good as NVIDIA. Okay, and then there is some consideration about using Rust. Some people believe that data science will move towards Rust. Rust, in fact, now has good libraries, and they are growing, it's moving. But there are also some people who believe that no, it will be Python and only Python. And again, some people believe in WebAssembly. So this is a way to run code in the browser. So we will see. WebAssembly exists for some time already, and it's not like widely used. GPT 3.5 Turbo, now you can fine tune it on the server. So you can only do it for GPT-3. You cannot do it for GPT-4 yet, but they say you'll be able to do it later. So if you want to build your application using GPT and you want to fine tune it on your data, now it's possible. So step one, prepare your data, upload files, create fine-tuning job on AI Cloud, and then it will fine-tune your model, and then you can use it. And there is some pricing for training and usage and so on. Now, I want to tell about the models. When people say GPT-3, like if you look closer, you will see that there is a collection of models, and they're named by some famous people: Ada, Curie, Babbage, and Da Vinci. Well, here the pictures. So Da Vinci, you know, Leonardo da Vinci, and the largest model for ChatGPT 3 family, 175 billion parameters, it's actually one of the Da Vinci models. But there are also other variants like 2.7 billion, 6 billion, and 13 billion parameters. Okay, Babbage, again, a famous mathematician and mechanic, he created a mechanical computer, so a mechanical engineer, and model, his name is 1.2 billion and 125 million. Then there is Marie Curie, and there are several models: 6.7 billion, 2.7 billion, and very small one, 90 million. And then there are also Ada, which is Augusta Ada Lovelace. She somehow worked with Babbage. I don't know. She was like, she's sometimes regarded as the world's first programmer. It was a long time ago. I think Ada Boost is also named after her. And the models are small, 40 million and 125 million. What will happen in January next year, all these models will disappear, and instead there will be only two models next generation called Babbage 002 and Da Vinci 002. So they basically leave the men and remove the women, whatever. There is yet one more model called Code Cushman, which is for coding. I tried to find who this Cushman is. Apparently, it's Scott Cushman, computer scientist, but I couldn't find his LinkedIn or like his picture. Okay, can AI recognize and generate humor? This is a question my former professor asked me. And there was actually a lot of research on this subject for tens of years. The short answer is that yes, it is possible. A computer maybe cannot like emotionally relate to humor, but it definitely can recognize the pattern and generate them. Yes, it may be mechanically, but it can do that. Another question similar to this: can AI create a phrase or poem which touches the soul? Can AI write an emotional poem or song? And the answer again is yes, it is possible. So it doesn't maybe, it cannot feel like a human, but it can imitate very well. For example, Hollywood is known for developing techniques to glue people to screens. There are tested templates and triggers for stirring emotions, squeezing tears, making people go, oh my God, and so on. AI can easily be trained to use these or similar techniques. One can argue, though, that this approach lacks the depth and that the machine doesn't understand the emotion. It simply mechanically applies the templates. This is true. But so is a good AI-based chef who cooks a perfect meal following the recipe without having a personal ability to feel the taste and texture. So yes, AI can create humor, AI can create emotions and influence us for good or worse, I don't know. Okay, next presentation. Before I do that, I will stop recording.